Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Common Culture, where we ask not what our culture can do for us, but what we can do for our culture. Society promotes individualism way too much that we're not getting to the root of what will free us, which is input and impact. So, what can we put in less than what can we take out? I really like doing it. It's built my confidence, even in the short period of time been uploading about political stuff, but it's less about you and more about me. So yeah, let's get to it. This past month in November, Ohio had a very, very big election. About 10 years ago, came and became a full, living person that lives in Ohio, and I learned a lot about the differences between the South and the North when it comes to voting, because the system isn't depleted of resources. I wanted to talk about my experience voting and my thoughts on and how they have changed since 2020 when I got to witness Joe Biden beating Trump, which was then an amazing thing. But as we've seen with the Palestinian conflict, the Palestinian people trying to free themselves, and Congo men setting themselves on fire just to get media attention. It's not about the details of the situation, it's about the message of the situation. And the message is we are so desperate to correct this corrupt system, we're willing to corrupt ourselves. And seeing the responses across the nation, across communities, and to see the consistency of most Black women was obviously hopeful. But to see the regression of what it actually takes to be free, to me, I, 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 whew, it has literally had me talking in circles. So one of the challenges that I've noted when going to vote for Joe Biden in comparison to what I might do next year, in my mind, Joe Biden had a limit. Joe Biden was a bit controllable. But I forgot that a system, by any other name or president, is still a system. He is setting himself up for failure because he's not willing to fight it. So I've grown in my decision. I do not regret voting for him. I do not regret things that make me learn. I do not regret being new at things and making mistakes when it comes to deconstructing how I vote, even. It made me think about voting culture and what propaganda had been placed in my head that made me believe those things. And one of the biggest forms of propaganda I have seen since I was a child, we have been convinced that silence is not a form of power. And the Black community, even ourselves, have been assimilated into that point of view. That's what it has been to elect specifically people of color into those positions. But that is a lie. We are not powerless when we decide to not vote. We are powerless when we don't vote at all. And I know that sounds like all the propaganda was saying, but it's why it's so good. If you don't go to vote at all, even your local issues are in the hands of people who are extremely convinced by the propaganda. There's nothing inherently wrong, in my opinion, at this point, to not put in a name for president. I think first off, why I think this is an input to our culture is that we need to threaten the Democratic Party to some degree. We need to do something unified now. And to me, a unified stance is a strike on voting. That is something we can do from our homes. No Democrat is going to be safe from being elected next year unless you meet our demands, which, should be the basics. But I don't think until they see it statistically happening, even at the major level as presidency, then they'll go, okay, we gotta really start trying to fight. Because as much as I want Republicans gone, their constituents are okay with them going back into office. So that's not happening. But we don't like our constituents, so we should be able to replace them a little easier. But because we don't show up to vote locally as consistently as we do for presidents, well, that's why we've lost a lot. That's why we've regressed even. Recently, with the millennial, Gen Z-ish, even being able to vote, that power has been, of silence, is an actual tool for unionizing almost the leftist vote. They're not voting Joe Biden. Just enough to make him lose. He doesn't have to lose. We don't have to say everybody. Just enough to actually make a threat to him losing. We have to show them that there is a way to purposefully abstain. Now you have two ways to control power in this world instead of just one. Go to vote for your local issues. For Ohio, we just passed abortion protections and legalized weed. Those are issues, not people. We need to decide that now or in January or in the primaries. Enough people to threaten Biden. Say, if you don't let this person be our primary person, be ready to be on the wrong side of history. We'd rather let it burn to the ground because that's what's going to happen anyway if we don't change them. He would listen to the people's threat and realize it is us trying to gently push you at this point so that we don't have to get into a situation like this happening in Gaza or a person like the man in Congo. That is the last resort for those people. But we do not use our power of silence enough, even our own individual lives. So maybe we can't plan this for 2024. Maybe we're just going to do the same thing and play it safe. But come 2028, I don't see a reason we can't do this. Just enough people to truly threaten the Democratic Party. That is all I have to say for that one. If you think this is a good potential theory that we can test, here's what I believe we can do. We can spread this video for awareness so that we can understand that there is an idea out there that can still remain impactful. Simply, as we can see with Congress today, if they're going to constantly be at a standstill anyway, who cares who's president? All he can do is decide to go to war. And that's what he did. The second thing you can do is go talk to your local organizations that volunteer, and then hopefully we'll see how we can influence the culture just a bit of voting a bit more than our predecessors believe we can. Don't believe the propaganda. And as always, may my faith be enough for us both. Bye.